All right, here's what we're going to look at now. We're still looking at pure competition. But now we're looking specifically at a purely competitive firm being in business for a while. So we're no longer in the short run. What we're going to look at now is we're going to look at what's called the long run. What happens when a purely competitive firm has been in business for a while? What do they look like? Here's how we're going to start this. I am going to start this scenario by saying we have a purely competitive firm making profits in the short run. So in the short run, I'm going to argue this firm was actually making money. And I want to show you graphically what happens. I'm going to go a little slow because it's a little bit involved. Here's how we set this up. You're going to have what's called the market. Think of this as the entire farmer's market. And this looks like any other market we know. Right beside it, I am going to measure what's happening with a firm. Think of the firm as an individual seller in that market. So this is the entire farmer's market, and this would be one strawberry vendor in the market. And their scenario looks like this. Remember, we measure price, cost, and revenue. Now the market looks like any other market. Downward sloping demand, upward sloping supply. This is the equilibrium. I'm going to call it P star. Remember, we said a firm is a price taker. Where are they taking the price from? They're taking it from the market. So whatever the market says, a firm will have to take. That's how we ended up with that horizontal line. They're taking that price from the market. Now remember, this firm was making profits in the short run. So if I want to show profits, you remember the trick for profits? That U-shaped cost curve? When we get it in here, we need to put it in below the demand curve. What's missing from this? The Nike swish, the marginal cost curve. How do we analyze this? Where do we start? We start where profits are maximized. MC is equal to MR. So we start right here. This is your quantity. That is your price. What is the cost? Well, the cost is right here, where the quantity hits the AC. Here it is. So that firm is making profits. Yeah? Now here's how the story goes. Once upon a time, you had a purely competitive firm making profits. That's this scenario. When this firm was making profits, other firms realized that this was a profitable industry. Now, if we live in a system where one firm is making profits and other people can see it, what do you think is going to happen? They're going to want to get in on it. It's almost like that friend trying to convince you to buy Bitcoin. Okay? Don't, by the way. But let's pretend. Purely competitive firm making profits is going to attract new firms. People are going to go, oh, wow, they're making money. I want to get in on that. Here's the thing with pure competition. Remember the characteristics we talk about? Freedom of entry and exit. If there's one firm making money and everybody's seeing that, they're going to want to enter. And guess what? They can. They can enter the market very freely because there is freedom of entry. So when one firm makes profits, new firms will enter. And when they enter, this is the supply. When we get more suppliers, this happens. It goes to the right. Guess what happens when we get more suppliers? They dampen the price on the market. They make it lower. I'm going to call it P2. Here's the thing. This firm is a price taker. So whatever the market says is the going price, this firm has no option but to take that price, which means when the new firms enter and they reset the equilibrium price at P2, this firm has no option but to now take this new price right here. They're going to have to take it. Which means they're no longer going to make profits. Firms are going to keep on entering and entering and entering until they compete away all the profits. In the long run, a purely competitive firm is going to end up with what we call normal profits. Another name for this is zero economic profits. No firm wants to enter, okay? Because price is now going to be equal to cost. That's the long run story for a purely competitive firm. Normal profits or zero economic profits. There we go.